And good afternoon everybody, back on the old Versus 1000. Just heading off to RAF Valley. It's a fairly nice day. Just coming past relief landing ground at Mona for the RAF. The old radar tower now absent of its radar antenna, no longer in use. The old caravan at the end of the runway. Position showing that the wind's coming from the north today, so they do touch and go practice at Mona, relieving the main Air Force base at Valley. Keep things clear for traffic that's being launched elsewhere, unrecovered. Quite busy around today. If you have a look at the old virtual radar online, lots of training going on in the mountains at low level and out at sea. So I thought, well, take the old video camera along with me. I don't really use it very much, so it's just charging in the backpack off a battery at the moment, and see what things we shall see. And whilst ordinarily we'd go through the RAF base, or at least the housing for those who work there, with the winds from the north, the approach obviously is from the south, and so we won't be going to the RAF base itself. We'll just be pulling up at a local village, a short walk to the end of the runway, where we shall look like a complete nerd with a video camera. It's a good place to get some pictures of landing aircraft, and even if we're lucky, some departing ones, who knows. Not very busy around at the moment. I don't think there are any visiting aircraft of note. Classic door opener. Let's open the door without looking at all. Thank you very much. The wreaths after Remembrance Sunday, which was last Sunday. And a very wet one it was as well. The rain came in for the duration of the ceremony, and then finished the minute it had ended. Such is luck. Traffic light ahead. Trucks bound for the ships. Not quite sure why they're coming this way, but oh, kind of are. The Northern Ireland number plate. So, about to pull in a little bit early there. Don't want to do any cone slalom today, thank you very much. Yeah, so the road we're on is the old A5, which was the post road, notionally from London to Dublin. So a road of imperialism, and since the A55 was built, this road is very quiet indeed now. Okay folks, so having been over to the end of the runway, we find that the light and variable wind means that they're actually landing in a southerly direction, so we're just going to nip across the A55 here and through onto the RAF base. there we go. Just a couple of minutes down the road and we're already on our way to the Air Force Base. See what we can see. Know there's a few helicopters around today. And here we go. So here we go. Here comes a car. Slowly, and there we go. Which way do we imagine? Doesn't really know. So we can pretend to be Maverick in the original Top Gun with a fast motorbike and a runway, or maybe not. Building some houses here. Probably far better quality than the rubbish they built for the RAF in the 1960s, 50s and 60s. They're absolutely horrendous quality, those houses. So sorry if the sun's flaring. I've got a neutral density filter on there, but this time of year the sun's just going to get in the way every time you go south. Amongst the numerous claims to fame of RAF Valley are it's one of the main flight training schools, number 4 flight training school, using Texans as the turboprops for basic training, and then advancing to the Hawks. Also helicopter training airfield. Lots of visiting aircraft usually coming across the Atlantic and so on. And also famous because this is where Prince William came to do his military service with what was then 2-2 Squadron Search and Rescue, which has since been disbanded as search and rescue functions being taken over by the civilian Bristow's over in Carnarvon Airport locally. Cover a very large area. And, it's also, or was also, I think it no longer flies, the home to civil connection between Anglesey and Cardiff, or the north and the south, but it's closed now. There's a Hawk on stand, and very busy with lots of flashy lights because at the moment they're resurfacing one of the runways. So it looks a bit like sort of a Mad Max scene really, with this really large mixer and the tarmac and concrete and all the rest of it. And just coming up on our right here, although you won't really notice it in the reeds, is Llyn Cerrig Bach, the Lake of the Small Stones, which in the Iron Age was a very important votive offering site where an awful lot of artefacts were found. About the 1940s, I think, when Valley was being created, they had to level the ground and excavate and all the rest of it, and they came across, the first thing they came across was a set of chains with the loops at the end, which were used for a while to pull out bogged down equipment from the sand and from the bog, until they realised in fact it was a set of chained manacles, I suppose you could call them, which were used for Iron Age slaves. We found an important gold neck chest ornament. All of this is down in Cardiff now, unfortunately. I have had a brief visit, the artefacts have had a brief visit up to Anglesey once, and I was fortunate to see those. And that lake was such an important place that historians say it kind of deserves its own cultural, to define its own cultural period. There are two, Hallstatt and Latin Celtic culture. So to be a bit careful in here, these corners. And had the discovery been made a bit earlier, I think, or under different circumstances, they would have created a culture known as Llyn Cerrig Bach, but for one reason or another that didn't happen. Thank you. So instead it's a kind of an obscure lake that hardly anybody really knows about these days. And there we go. That's a little bit of Iron Age history there for you before we turn to things significantly more modern. Very quiet at the airfield at the moment, everybody's out doing their training over Wales and further afield. So it's getting a bit later in the day, so I expect some of the things, some of the aircraft to start coming back at some point. But look,